In an ancient world where gods, immortals, and humans coexist, power is the only law that determines survival. At the top of the hierarchy is the mighty Shang dynasty, ruled not just by mortal emperors but also under the watchful eye of the high gods. Among them is the god King Tian, whose authority stretches across realms. The Shang dynasty's strength lies not only in its armies but also in divine blessings granted to its rulers. Wu Geng, the crown prince of the Shang dynasty, is known for his arrogance and rebellious spirit. Unlike the obedient heirs of other kingdoms, he openly questions the dominance of the gods over human affairs. Though talented and sharp-minded, his pride often brings him into conflict with both courtiers and divine envoys. To the gods, Wu Geng's defiance is a dangerous spark that must be extinguished before it ignites a rebellion. Beneath his princely arrogance, Wu Geng hides a longing for freedom. He despises the idea that humans must bow to the gods and serve them as slaves for eternity. This rebellious thought takes root when he witnesses how cruelly the gods treat mortals who fail to meet their demands. Even those who serve loyally are discarded when they are no longer useful. His life changes dramatically when the gods decide that the Shang dynasty has grown too bold and must be replaced. The powerful god king orders an invasion, leading an army of divine warriors to the human realm. The battle is swift and devastating. The once proud capital of Shang falls under heavenly fire, and the royal family is slaughtered. Wu Geng himself is killed in the chaos, but death is not the end for him. In the underworld, his spirit is intercepted by a mysterious force. He awakens in the body of a slave named Ah Go, who once served in the mines under the god's control. Confused and enraged, Wu Geng must come to terms with his new identity. Though stripped of his title, wealth, and comfort, he retains his sharp mind and unyielding will. Life as Ah Go is brutal. The gods' mines are places of suffering, where human slaves toil endlessly to extract precious resources for their masters. The overseers are ruthless, and survival depends on strength, cunning, and the ability to endure pain. Wu Geng quickly learns that open defiance leads to death, so he hides his true identity and observes his surroundings carefully. In the darkness of the mines, he meets other slaves who dream of freedom but fear the god's wrath. Among them is a skilled fighter who becomes his unlikely ally, teaching him how to survive in a world where weakness is fatal. Wu Geng's mind begins to adapt, replacing the arrogance of his princely past with the calculated patience of a survivor. Over time, Wu Geng discovers a hidden truth. Deep within the mines lies a secret network of rebels, humans, demons, and even disillusioned gods, who believe in overthrowing the divine order. They operate in shadows, gathering strength and waiting for the right moment to strike. Seeing their determination reignites his own ambition to challenge the gods. His training begins in earnest. The rebels teach him techniques to strengthen his body and cultivate his spiritual energy, a force that humans can use to stand against divine powers. Though progress is slow, Wu Geng's determination is unmatched. Every blow he endures, every drop of blood he sheds, hardens him into a warrior far different from the spoiled prince he once was. The rebellion faces constant danger. The gods deploy elite warriors known as heavenly executioners to hunt down any sign of resistance. These warriors possess overwhelming power, and even the strongest rebels struggle to hold them off. Wu Geng experiences firsthand the cost of defiance when several of his comrades are killed in a raid. Each loss deepens his hatred for the gods. Yet, rather than letting grief break him, Wu Geng channels it into his resolve. He swears that one day he will bring the gods down from their thrones and free humanity from their chains. His allies begin to see him as a leader, someone who inspires hope even in the darkest moments. During a mission to sabotage a supply route for the gods' armies, Wu Geng encounters a powerful god warrior in battle. Though outmatched, he refuses to flee, using every ounce of skill and strategy to survive. The clash leaves him gravely injured, but it also earns him the respect of the rebellion's leaders, who see his potential to change the tide of war. As his strength grows, Wu Geng learns more about the gods' hierarchy and the truth behind their rule. He discovers that not all gods are united. Some oppose the tyranny but fear the consequences of open rebellion. By forging alliances with these dissenting deities, he gains new techniques and weapons forged with divine power, the war intensifies when the gods sense the growing threat of the rebels. They launch large-scale purges, burning entire settlements suspected of harboring resistance. Wu Geng witnesses atrocities that test his patience and self-control. His vision of freedom is no longer just for himself, it is for every mortal who has suffered under divine oppression. In a decisive moment, Wu Geng leads a daring raid on a heavily guarded fortress where the gods store captured weapons and artifacts. The mission is a success, but it exposes his true identity as the former crown prince of Shang. The revelation shocks both allies and enemies, and the gods see him as a symbol of rebellion that must be destroyed at all costs. With his cover blown, Wu Geng fully embraces his role as the leader of the uprising. His strategies become bolder, targeting not just supply lines but also the gods' command structures. Every victory fuels the rebellion's momentum, inspiring more humans to join the cause. The gods respond by sending their most feared general, a being of immense strength who once served as the right hand of the God King. The inevitable confrontation between Wu Geng and this general becomes a turning point in the war. The battle is fierce, shaking the earth and sky. Wu Geng emerges victorious, proving that even the mightiest of gods can fall. His victory sparks uprisings across multiple regions. The rebellion grows into a full-scale war, and the gods find themselves fighting on multiple fronts. Still, the God King remains the ultimate challenge, his power beyond anything Wu Geng has faced before. Before confronting the God King, Wu Geng undergoes one final training, seeking the wisdom of an ancient hermit who once defied the gods. Through grueling trials, he unlocks the full potential of his spiritual energy, merging it with the will of humanity itself. This transformation makes him more than a warrior, it makes him the embodiment of human defiance. The final battle arrives. Wu Geng leads the combined forces of humans, demons, and rebel gods against the armies of heaven. The clash is apocalyptic, with entire landscapes reshaped by the sheer force of divine and mortal power colliding. At the heart of the storm, Wu Geng faces the God King in single combat. The fight pushes him to his limits, each strike threatening to crush his body and spirit. Yet, he refuses to yield, remembering every injustice, every life lost under divine rule. Through a final surge of willpower, Wu Geng channels all his strength into a single, decisive blow that shatters the God King's defense. The once untouchable ruler falls, his divine light fading into nothingness. With the God King's death, the power of the heavens weakens. The surviving gods scatter, and the chains binding humanity are broken. For the first time in history, mortals stand free from divine rule. Wu Geng does not declare himself king. Instead, he vows to protect the fragile peace and ensure that no new tyrant, mortal or divine, rises to take the god's place. His journey from arrogant prince to leader of a revolution becomes a legend told across generations, and so, in the chronicles of the world, his name is remembered not as the last prince of Shang, but as the man who defied the heavens and won. In an ancient world where gods